What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far today. Getting into this episode of GH, this was a mess. This episode was a hot mess. Jocelyn and Trina were playing catch up or whatever. Trina was updating her about why she was at the hospital because it's Brit's Memorial Day. And Jocelyn is there because of Willow and Michael and the baby, of course. So she was up. They were basically updating each other. And of course Trina was, giving her take on things with the whole Cameron and Jocelyn situation because she was like, she hoped that they could at least remain friends. And Jocelyn was just like, that's up to Cameron at this point. I mean, Jocelyn, why would that man want to be friends with you? You dogged him out. You humiliated the hell out of him. And Trina's trying to make sense of all this because she felt like Spencer, felt something else was going on. There was more to the story. And, Jocelyn was like, there is more to the story. But of course, Jocelyn is not ready to talk about that yet. Honestly, I think Jocelyn, I think she's trying to take a breather for a moment because with everything going on with the breakup and plus what Michael is going through, she's not, I can understand why she don't really want to talk about it because she already knows. She probably sick of people blasting her about it. So she kind of want to take a break from all that talk about Cameron. But at some point, you gotta tell your best friend what the hell going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your best friend. If you can't confide in your best friend and talk to your best friend, who the hell can you talk to at this point? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure, Trina probably not gonna be happy about Jocelyn's actions. But I think she'll probably, try to understand it or whatever, but she's just not gonna be happy with it. I'm not really happy with her choice because I'm like, that was fucked up. I mean, if you're doing it to a dude, I don't condone cheating, but if you're gonna do it to somebody, do it to somebody that actually deserved that shit. That was horrible to your ass or something. But don't do that to somebody that was nice to you and that was good to you, ain't never even looked at another person before, only had eyes for you. Don't do that to that person. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like people their age shouldn't be so serious in a relationship. I don't think so. I think they need to sow their wild oats, so to speak, before they start to settle down. Not everybody, but some people, because you don't want to, regret or have resentment. Like, oh, I didn't date around. Oh, I didn't live life, the way I want to because I was tied down. You don't want to have that. So, I say shop around. That's all I'm gonna say. Shop around, but do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it the scandalous way. So anyway, moving on from that, Ava Ava was looking good. Ava was looking good. Let me tell you something. Maura West, she puts the capital F in fine. I'm just saying that woman is gorgeous. Um, very always well dressed head to toe. Like I love her. Like she is always just flawless every time she shows up on scene. Like everything just right. So she came there with a little information for Spencer that could help him because she feels like his case against Nicholas and Esme is, it could use some help because she feels like him winning this custody thing is slim to none. So she was like, let me boost your chances a bit. So she handed him a piece of paper with a web address on it. And she told him basically go there, look at the video. It's a video of his father. And it's enough to mess up Nicholas's reputation and pretty much make sure that Nicholas loses the custody bid and Spencer could win. But she felt like it might not even end up in court if he uses that information to his advantage. So Trina came in and her and Ava, they exchanged pleasantries and stuff. So of course Trina's inquisitive. She was like, what was that piece of paper she gave you? So Spencer was, I love this because Spencer was like, you know what? I promise no more secrets between us. I'm going to tell you everything. I'm just going to put it all out there. Full disclosure. I love it because that shows growth in the relationship because usually Spencer would have tried to play it close to the vest and not even tell her. So I'm glad he's growing a bit and he's confiding more in Trina as he should. Because remember the last time he didn't. Look at the big mess they all created. You know what I'm saying? Misunderstandings, miscommunications. That's what happens when you don't tell people things. So I'm glad he's opening up to her. And he told her about the web address and there's, a damning video of Nicholas on there that could help his case. Of course, Trina wasn't there for it. Trina was like, listen, she's supporting him in terms of this custody battle. Because he also filled Ava in on that too. He told Ava like how Trina's, being a supportive friend and she supports his bid for custody even though she's, has reservations about it. She's still going to be there for him. But, Trina is not the person. She doesn't want to play dirty. You know what I mean? I get where she's coming from, but at the same time, in certain situations, you got to play dirty. But the thing is, you got to know when to draw the line. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what levels of dirty, how dirty you want to get. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to cross the line. So she chose to watch the video with Nick. I was about to say Nicholas Spencer. She chose to watch the video with him and stuff like that, and it was pretty much the confession tape that Nicholas made about Esme and what happened on the parapet and stuff like that. I was like, yo, that's gonna blow up Nicholas's world if Spencer uses that video. You know what I mean? And Ava told him, she warned Spencer. She was like, listen, once you see this video and what you do with it, there's no coming back from it. You know what I mean? Because Spencer told Trina he might not even use the video. He just wants to see what's on it. Because this is going to really change the trajectory of the relationship between Spencer and Nicholas. Like, Spencer and Nicholas's relationship is already fractured. You know what I'm saying? But you could tell Nicholas still wants to mend that relationship. He's just going through all these Esme challenges and creating bigger messes. But I feel like if Spencer does use this video, Nicholas is going to be pissed. And I feel like their relationship is going to go from bad to worse, to even worse than what it is now. So he's really going to have to think long and hard, like, what you want to do with this video. I say use it as blackmail. That way you might not even have to go to court. You could draw up the paperwork, have Nicholas sign the documents right there, terminating parental rights. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do. Make sure it don't. Because if this does go into a courtroom, though, if he used that video, it's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of scrutiny. It's like opening Pandora's box with that video. Nicholas is going to have a lot of questions that he's going to have to answer to a judge and to the general public. And Ava's name might get popped in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just going to be a big ball of mess at this point. If he uses that video, it's just going to be a lot. And Nicholas's reputation in the business community is definitely going to be fractured. So anyway, moving on from that. Jordan really tried to lie to Aunt Stella, talking about, oh, I was asking questions about the genealogy stuff because I'm working on the case. Stella said, Stella said, cut the nonsense. Because Stella, she wasn't having it. She was like, no, I know it's way more to it than that. Stella started putting the dots together. She started piecing everything together. And let me just say this real quick. Jordan is another fine-ass character. Like, Jordan is fine. Oh my God, she's another beautiful ass woman on the show. I swear for the Lord, they got a lot of beautiful women up here. And it's crazy how some of them are single. I'm like, they need a man or a woman, something. You know what I mean? Like, they just be too damn fine to be single and messing with these little fuck boys up here. I'm just saying, like, y'all need some real men. Like, stop messing with these little, simple-minded ass men, So Stella started connecting the dots, and that's when she realized that Trina could be Curtis's daughter, and she was like, listen, if you don't tell him, I will tell him. But Jordan was like, no, I'm not going to tell him because that's not my business. She was like, that's not my place. I totally get where Jordan coming from, and we all know how Curtis's mind is. If Jordan comes to him and flat out tells him that, he's not going to believe her. He's just going to think, oh, you trying to come in between me and Porsche. He's going to shoot the messenger. That's pretty much what he's going to do. Like, we've seen him do it a million times. Every time Jordan is honest with him, he thinks she's lying all the time. So it wouldn't be right coming from her. And it wouldn't be right coming from Stella without proof. You know what I'm saying? They need proof first. And Stella was like, cool, we need to figure this out before this wedding happened. Because Stella was like, I'm not going to officiate this wedding if that secret is not out. Because Jordan kept trying to tell Portia, you need to tell him before y'all get married. If he finds out after the fact, it's going to be way worse. He needs to know before that. You know what I mean? It's going to be terrible. So I'm glad Stella know, because Stella not going to let it go. So I suggest y'all steal some toothbrushes and y'all get to the DNA lab and y'all put a rush on them results. So anyway, moving on from that, Drew and Curtis were catching up, because Curtis is trying to pick up a tux and whatnot. And Drew was bringing him up to speed on the whole Carly, Nina, Michael, Willow nonsense. And Curtis, he wasn't here for it. Curtis was like, because what Carly did was jacked up and Nina is his friend. And he was like, I don't approve of that. My whole thing is, they need to get back to some friendships on this show, because Curtis and Nina rarely have scenes together. And it's kind of crazy how Nina's going through what she going through. Curtis is about to get married, and they're not around each other being, leaning on each other. Like, that's what real friends do. Even when both are going through things. Like, y'all lean on each other, but they don't have no scenes together. I can't remember the last time they were together. I think it's been a little while. So they need to get back to the friendship of Curtis and Nina. You know what I mean? Because they both going through some shit right about now, and they could use a friend. And Curtis was pretty much dropping, innuendos, basically saying like if somebody close to him lied to him or something like that, or told him, held on to a secret like that, he don't think he could come back from that. He don't think there's forgiveness in that. So that's pretty much foreshadowing that Curtis is not going to forgive Portia. Like, if the truth comes out and Trina really is his daughter and Portia knew all these years, ain't gonna be no wedding. Ain't gonna be no relationship. I don't see him forgiving her anytime soon. Down the line, maybe. Right now, no. It might take some weeks. It might take some months. Who knows? He may never fully get over it. You know what I mean? Because that's huge. Like, that means that man missed out on 20 years of his daughter's life. You know what I mean? Like, that's nuts. 20 years he can't get back. I would be ultra pissed. Like, there's no way I would take a person back like that. I wouldn't even spit on your ass if you was on fire. If I had to find out I had a child 20 plus years later. No, absolutely not. So I can't blame Curtis for that. But this is going to be a mess at that wedding. If they get to the wedding, it's going to be a hot mess. So moving on from that, Carolyn and Nicholas show up at Spring Ridge to see Esme. I'm like, Carolyn, what the hell are you doing? You did right the first time when you basically refused to help Nicholas, and now here you are following behind him at Spring Ridge. Oh yeah, they got the temp guy who played Nicholas before. They got him stepping in for Nicholas again since Marcus Coloma is out, because the January 26th episode was Marcus Coloma's last episode. So these are the scenes that Marcus Coloma refused to tape after he was fired. I can't say I blame him. You fired me, I'm out the door that day. I'm just saying. But yeah, Carolyn pissed me off. I said, Carolyn, use your better sense. If you have any sense at all, why are you here? Like, Nicholas is not to be trusted. He's not your daughter's friend. Not in that sense. Not like he used to be. Why are you following behind him? Stop being a fool. So she basically came there to try to assess the situation with Esme to see if she could ever regain those memories. And based off of Esme's answers, Carolyn pretty much diagnosed her unofficially with dissociative amnesia caused by trauma. So she said, with some hypnosis or whatever like that, she could possibly regain her memories and whatnot. But that's when she saw the baby bump on her. And she was like, you're pregnant. So that's when it was revealed that Spencer was the father, because that's what Esme believes. And that's going to be Nicholas's grandchild. So Carolyn was doubly pissed because she was like, this is a huge conflict of interest. She was like, it's unethical. And she doesn't want no part of this because he never divulged this information to her. So she was like, it's unethical. And here go Nicholas. Also, since when are you concerned about ethics and stuff like that? I'm like, Carolyn, get away from him. Like, why do you keep associating yourself with the likes of Nicholas? Like, why? He keep being rude to you. Why? Get away from him. Stop. Just go. Stop being a fool. So, Carolyn stormed out of there or whatever, and Nicholas went back to Esme, and she pretty much revealed to Esme that the child is not Spencer's, is his. The look on Esme's face, that girl looked like she threw up twice in her mouth when he said that. Like, she just looked at, like, just disgusted. I say, yeah, you slept with the papa. You slept with the daddy. Yeah, you done slept with your man daddy. That's gross. But I get it. At least he ain't no 70-year-old man or nothing like that. I'm just saying, at least he, middle-aged and fit. You know what I mean? Because that'd be gross, you sleeping with some 60, 70-year-old out-of-shape man. I'm just saying, that's, wrinkles all over, no. That is nasty. So, of course, Carolyn show up to the hospital and bump into Elizabeth. So, Elizabeth was just like, because Carolyn was like, oh, you look like you need rest and stuff. Elizabeth was like, listen, what can I do for you? What you want? She was like, oh, I'm trying to help you or whatever the case. I'm like, Carolyn, you did enough. Go back home to your cheating husband, 'cause I'm pretty sure he done found him another little filly by now since you've been up in Port Charles. That man can't go that long without some sex, so you might want to get on home now. I'm just saying, and leave Elizabeth alone. She got enough going on here. So moving on from that, they're preparing Willow for her C-section and whatnot. So they take her in, do the C-section. She has the baby, a gigantic baby. I said that do not look like no newborn. That look like a child that's about 6, 7 months old. I'm looking. I'm like, who big ass baby is that? That ain't no newborn I ever seen. I said, good lord. I was like, what type of Pediasure y'all feeding that child? So I said, that like one of them big Gerber babies. I said, there ain't no newborn child that just came out the womb. That child look like it's about 6, 7 months old. I said, come on now. That's a gigantic television baby. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, listen, for Willow's sake, I'm glad she didn't have to push that big thing out her cooter. I'm just saying, you see the size of that baby? Good lord, that would stretch your cooter out. I'm just, that's like pushing out a whole GMC truck. Like, what the hell, y'all? Y'all could have got a smaller child. I'm just saying, that's a huge. Lord have mercy. I just praise Lord that they did a C-section, because good lord, could you imagine pushing that thing out through that little hole? Just, trying to. Lord, that's like pushing out a whole train. Just, choo choo. I gotta put my church finger up real quick. Oh God, let me compose myself. Let me compose myself real quick. Hold on. Oh God, my chest hurt. Frank Valentini, y'all wrong for getting that big child like that. All right, let me compose myself real quick. Let me compose myself. So after they done had the baby and whatnot, um, they didn't have a name for the child. They didn't think of names yet. So they got a little time to come up with that. So Jocelyn and Michael go look at the baby in ICU, and that's when Dr. Navarro wanted to take the umbilical cord or whatever, to take the blood off, whatever she got to do with it. But that's when Willow started talking gibberish for a moment. Talking about Michael and Jonah and stuff like that. She started talking real crazy. And that's when the doctor started noticing that. And the doctor asked her, she said, do you know what date it is? And she said the 4th of July. So that's when the doctor noticed she started hemorrhaging. And that's when, Willow just went unconscious and stuff like that. And she saw the light, and then Harmony. I'm like, oh God, not Harmony. I'm like, first of all, Harmony, you with a white light, ain't no way in the world you up there, because all the mess you done pull, you must be down there, not up there. I'm just saying, because ain't no way in the world Harmony up in no. Please, Harmony need to be down below. I'm just saying. But I'm not surprised though that Willow having complications with the birth and whatnot. With her, not the birth, but having complications with the leukemia and stuff. She waited too long. You know what I mean? When you wait too long, you playing with your life right there. So now she's suffering those consequences. So I'm not sure if they're gonna kill her off or not, but it might go that way, or she might get a second miracle here. But anyway, that's pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought, and I'll see you all later. Have a good night. Peace.